Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel guys. I hope everyone is having a wonderful week and have all been enjoying the sunshine. If you're like me and live in the UK, it's been really sunny. I feel like quite a lot of March and so far in April, and especially in the UK we do not get much of it, so it's always good to take it when it comes and get out in the sunshine as much as you can. Today's video, I felt like having just a chill time in the art studio and just getting out my Winsor & Newton designer gouache out and just painting whatever comes to mind. I've been recently repotting a lot of my succulents, one of them being my aloe vera, and I have a few other types of succulents as well. I will just put the names on top of the video and show images because I do not know how to pronounce these names. But my aloe vera is just becoming extremely top heavy. With succulents, a lot of the time their roots are really small compared to the size of plant they grow, so they tend to like topple over, especially things like aloe that grow like quite upright and get quite big. Your smaller succulents sometimes don't have this problem, but yeah, all of them just needed repotting. I had a couple that was having pups, so I just needed to repot them as well. And now I've got more succulents than I know what to do with, so I definitely think some people are going to have to be gifted these. Even though it was time for a repot, I did all that. And I've got them all now facing in their new pots on my windowsill as it faces the sun when it's rising and gets the more sunlight. And obviously succulents love the heat and the sun with a little bit of shade now and then. And because where I paint, I sit facing that same window, so the first thing I see is all my plants basically. So I chose the aloe to paint for ease, as I'm still quite new in trying to paint plants and flowers, especially when trying to make them look a bit realistic. And with the aloe vera, their stems and leaves are quite thick and chunky, and it's quite a simple plant to paint. Then for the second painting, I thought since it's close to Easter, why not go for spring style flowers, and nothing says spring more like daffodils and tulips. And at the moment these are all over my Instagram, my Facebook and my TikTok, whether that be just people showing them, planting them. A lot of art channels that I've watched recently or seen on Instagram have been painting tulips and daffodils and like Easter related things. So all of us artists out there must be getting really inspired by spring at the moment and Easter, so I chose them to paint for the second painting. After using the Winsor & Newton gouache for both these paintings, like always, I went in with some of the Faber Castell Goldfaber jewel markers and some POSCA just to add some highlights and shadow here and there and a bit of an outline with the Faber Castell Pitt Artist Brown fine liner. But without further ado, I will let the rest of the video go on. If you're interested in any more of my art, feel free to check out my Instagram. I have it linked down below in the description box, and if you like this video, feel free to give it a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button as it helps me out a lot. And I will see you guys in the next week's video, and I wish everyone a lovely rest of the week. Bye!